I've been asked the question a lot of, should I be going for Aventurine when I have this sustainer or that sustainer? Should I choose him over Xuan? I just pulled Luocha. Should I also consider going for Aventurine? This brought the great idea in my head of, while we as a community have been told countless times to go for this sustainer or go for that sustainer, is there truly a right choice? In this video, we'll be going over just that, talking about the way the state of the game helps influence our summoning choices, as well as talk about each of these sustainers and explain just how each of their benefits do not coincide with one another. First, I just want to establish what our conversations will be about. I do think covering every sustainer would be very long and very winded of a discussion, so I do want to try and talk about each 5-star sustainer that's been released. This includes Luocha, Xuan, Huo Huo, and soon Aventurine. When it comes to talking about the value of each of these sustainers, one thing crosses the mind lots when I hear or see discussions for each of them. There will be players who mention that this sustainer isn't the best sustainer in comparison to the next sustainer. You should be prioritizing going for this one over the other. This is where I do want to bring up the idea to you now and have it cross your minds as we go further into explaining these characters. For a lot of newer players, the right sustainer for you is all of them, or none of them. Kind of a weird answer, right? The reality of the situation is you can just go for the one you like, and then you'll be able to do just fine with that decision alone. There are specifics that you can get from each of these sustainers, and those specifics don't overlap with one another. This makes them all valuable. I wouldn't say one is more valuable than the other, but trying to get two of them does allow you to live a very comfortable account life. So, let's go into the details and the nitty-gritty of each of these sustainers, uncover their positives and their negatives, and show you just exactly which sustain is the right choice for you. Luocha is our first limited sustain to release, and even though he's the oldest, he's definitely the most agile and easiest to use. Luocha is the definition of hot blondes in your area. You think it's all a scam, then you try it out and realize they're giving you more than you asked for. All he asks for in return is your credit card info, expiration date, and 3 digits. Oh wait, that's the wrong ad. Based on his talent, when Luocha reaches 2 stacks of these Abyss Flowers, he will deploy a field which, once you target enemies within the field, the target who attacks the enemy will restore their HP that basically heals the entire team. Now, how do you go about generating Abyss Flowers? His skill allows for him to heal one target while also removing a debuff on the target. Additionally, if one of the allies were to drop below 50% HP, he will be able to trigger his skill for free, with full benefits, energy included, and all without costing a skill point, which can happen every 2 turns. This makes him a very skill point friendly character. Having a free heal every 2 turns guaranteed is super helpful, and then puts you closer to being able to get that AoE healing field as well. His ultimate is probably one of the best things about his kit. Luocha will be able to deal AoE damage and gain 1 stack of the Abyss Flower. Additionally, he'll be able to remove 1 buff from all enemies, and that's kinda huge. Try and consider the kind of enemies that you could benefit off of this from. The one that comes to mind right away is the Sanctus Medicus enemies, who are able to lifesteal and also have a second life. Luocha gets rid of that, basically neuters their entire gimmick. With him being a healer like this, there's also the situation of moments where his heals may not be enough. Luocha can solve a problem, but he can't solve murder. Sometimes some attacks you just can't withstand. With his free heal being once every 2 turns, you're put into situations where maybe that's not enough. Then his whole SP positive playstyle starts to show its issues, where you may have to use the heal more. Overall, Luocha is a healer at the end of the day, and he's a damn good one at that. There's no healer currently released that can match his healing output, while also doing it with these kinds of results. Let's move on to our next unit, that being Xuan. Xuan is a preservation unit who, with her skill, is able to activate the Matrix of Prescience, which will then distribute up to 65% damage that the team receives back to herself for 3 turns. The Matrix of Prescience will increase the team's max HP by up to 6% and crit rate by 12%, and can prevent 1 crowd control debuff per skill. With Xuan on the team, you'll always know that no matter how hard you've got it, she's definitely taking it harder. With her talent, she also provides misfortune avoidances, which allows your allies to take up to 18% less damage. Also, Xuan will start the battle with stacks, that when she falls below 50% of her max HP, she'll trigger a heal that restores 90% of her HP that she has currently missing. With her ultimate, she's able to deal AoE damage to all enemies, and will gain another stack of this healing effect from the talent. When you use her ultimate, you'll also be able to heal all allies for 5% of Xuan's health and some base HP. Xuan can reduce damage, she can heal herself, you can heal the team, she can provide some sort of crowd control resistance. She also gets more energy when she refreshes her Matrix of Prescience while it's still active. Now, I get what you're hearing. All of this sounds really good, and well, yeah, it is. Xuan is that character who you probably honestly should consider getting, because I feel like they made a mistake when they released her because she was just that powerful. But to be a hater for a little bit because I just can't let her win the entire time. That wouldn't be fair. With the damage outputs raising in the game, it's good to consider that Fu Xuan's benefits can tend to fall a bit short based on your investment with her. Not just because she's small, I had to use that. I used the joke last time. Thank you for noticing. Compared to Luocha, who was very easy to pick up and play, and healing's all he's got for his kit, Fu Xuan, on the other hand, has so much more to worry about. You've got to make sure her health pool is high enough where she'll be able to withstand all these hits, and you know, not just die from the attack. It is worth building more defense on her so she takes less damage as well, while also considering that while she does reduce 65% of the damage the team receives, I'm pretty sure she still takes the full damage herself. Also, the 5% healing sounds really good that she gives out, but your team is still out there taking damage. Once again, you're running on the clock. If she'll end up keeping them alive long enough, or if it's just a slow death starting to occur. Fu Xuan starts to suffer a lot more in game modes like the Simulated Universe, Swarm Disaster, and Golden Gears, where damage does begin to ramp up more. And while some people will be willing to say, those are just specific scenarios, you don't even need to do these harder difficulties where she'll start to dwindle in performance, that also just means that she's not the perfect character that we're all willing to say she is. But you know what? She really can and will put up a fight, and that's the reason why she's so often talked about and considered to be on the top. Good on you, Fu Xuan. Huo Huo is next on our list, and have no fear, because this little Foxian has more than enough of that to share with the entire team. With her skill, she'll be able to heal and dispel the debuff on a single ally that she targets, while additionally healing the allies that are adjacent to the target in battle. With her talent, Huo Huo gains Divine Provision after using her skill. This allows for when an ally's turn begins to gain a small heal. If they were to use an ultimate, they'll also get the heal from this effect. The sickest part of her kit, honestly, is that when she uses her skill, you're able to cleanse a debuff up to 6 times total per skill. This can come in handy in quite a lot of situations where you get imprisoned or frozen, but the best part regarding her kit is her ultimate. The ultimate regenerates energy for all allies up to 20% of their max energy's worth. Additionally, she'll be able to provide up to a 40% attack increase for 2 turns. Huo Huo releases shows the benefit of having a hybrid healer. Healing or survivability was something at the time that wasn't one of those big concerns. In terms of the endgame, players were trying to find ways to clear the content faster and in a more optimized scenario. Huo Huo's values would show a lot more in compositions like damage over time, or characters that require a ton of energy to work. The way the game works revolves around energy. There's a reason why Ting Yun, a Harmony support, was considered to be one of their best characters in the game, being able to provide a ton of energy to a single target to allow for them to use their ult quicker. Huo Huo is essentially an AoE Ting Yun, while also providing a massive attack boost, both of which are important for most of the popular compositions. Lastly, we have Aventurine, our newest sustainer on this list. This pretty boy's gotten a lot of extra treatment. Aventurine is a preservation character with the focus of shielding your party while also dealing some damage via follow-up attacks. I made a video going over his kit entirely, so if you hadn't already, you should go check that out. But we'll do a quick breakdown of his kit here as well. Aventurine provides a shield at the start of battle to all team members because of his major trace, scaling off of his defense. The great thing about Aventurine is that he's able to use his skill to be able to provide the Fortified Wager shield. That has the added benefit of being a stackable shield up to 2 times the base amount provided from the starting shield. Thanks to Aventurine's talent, the Fortified Wager shield also provides a 50% effect res for the team, as long as they are shielded, and allows Aventurine to avoid crowd control debuffs as well. Additionally, for his talent, Aventurine is able to build up stacks of Blind Bet. Blind Bet as well allows Aventurine to trigger his follow-up attacks, which will deal damage to the enemy 7 times in random. It requires 7 stacks to activate, and he can carry over 10 stacks in total, and the excess will be contributed to his next follow-up attack. Every time a party member is attacked, Aventurine will gain 1 stack. Likewise, Aventurine will gain 2 stacks if he is attacked. This is all while the party is shielded. Last but not least, we have his ultimate, which allows him to inflict an enemy with the Unnerved debuff. That boosts the amount of crit damage that can be taken on the target, and also grants him a random number of Blind Bet stacks ranging from 1 stack to 7 stacks. All in all, Aventurine's kit is the definition of a shielder on steroids, while also bringing a new unique style with the way the shields can be provided. Aventurine is a great sustainer. The damage that you'll be able to do with him is nothing to scoff at. In comparison to all the other sustainers of choice, he blows them out of the water and still looks very nice doing so. This does not mean that Aventurine's damage will be something super insane, like compared to another DPS, but the damage damage that he does provide will add up quite nicely. A shielder is very strong, especially with damage numbers on the rise, and Aventurine shows with his capabilities of keeping them alive. I was only able to use the story version of Aventurine, and while it did not have the best of builds, it offered me just the right amount of experience for me to make the decision of the way the character would play out. Compared to someone like Xuan, who reduces the amount of damage that your team is taking as a whole, Aventurine is able to do exactly the same with shields, but your team won't be taking any damage at all. With regards to his shields, and if they're going to be hard to keep up, with the amount of AoE the enemies do these days, and his follow-ups being able to re-provide the shields, you'll be in scenarios where even if your shield were to run out, more than likely, the damage you're taking isn't anything too crazy. The other great thing is Aventurine has his shields on demand, because you can just as easily provide the shields again with the use of his skill. Aventurine brings a really big benefit for the sustainers as a whole, also offering something new for players to try out and enjoy. After going over each of these sustainers, we're brought to the question of who would any of this kind of information benefit toward. New players are often fed information or look for information in regards to which characters they should be aiming for. A lot of players are on the hunt right now for each of these sustainers, but cannot make up their mind or consider what would be the best course of action for their accounts. This leads us to the situations of, why would you need this new sustainer if I already have this old sustainer? Just because you have, let's say, Luocha and Xuan, it does not take away the values that Huo Huo and Aventurine bring to the table. Quite frankly, if you go back and look at what was explained for each character, you'll see that the way they play and how they handle things all differ. And they differ so much that the uniqueness of each character brings big value in and of itself. New players want the characters that will most benefit their account and will go for those characters. Old players already have the characters from these situations before and won't need to pull for these new characters. Neither player is wrong, and both experiences are warranted and show great benefits. This leads to the situation that we've been discussing this entire time. Which sustainer is the right one for you? The best answer for this, and that I was stated before, was you can go for one, you can go for all, and that's the right answer in many shapes and forms. The illusion of choice is there, but the reality of the situation is no matter which choice you had made, you're making the right choice because they're all powerful. Every road leads to the same end path, and you just have to make the choice yourself in how you want to experience it. And if you want to try and have that path cross into your own, all of these sustainers are insanely good, and for limited characters, you would want and expect for them to be so. The sustainers are in such a good state right now that while people are talking about a comparison of apples and oranges, the real solution is just pears and peaches. Think about the situations that were provided, understand the concept between each character, and consider which option best fits the playstyle that you're looking for. Pick the best two that'll fit for you, and if you feel like a new one that comes out in the future fits a team you enjoy, go for that one too. At the end of the day, these are the characters that you're pulling for that will make you enjoy the game more. So follow the choices that you do think will lead you to that best outcome. But hey, if you ask me, I'm just gonna pull for them all. And that's all I've got for this one. I was asked a lot of questions on which sustainer you should go for, so I figured while each sustainer has their values, it would be good to cover them all in one go. So it'll offer new players a better understanding of which one they should choose, or even returning players who may not have gotten them in the first place. Starrail's got this great way of making characters feel different from one another, so hopefully they'll keep that trend going. But hey, comment down below if there's anything I might have missed. I'm always down to hear about it. Also consider subscribing. I think we're really close to 1,000, and I would love if we can hit that number, so if you haven't already, or if we have crossed it by the time you see this, you should consider subscribing anyway. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me through this journey. It's been really fun. I hope to see you all again soon. Till next time. Peace.